All right, we are speaking right now. We're gonna be reading and practicing. Yeah. Okay. So, nuclear radiation and mud, a strange combination that mixes histories as well as metaphors. For if the history at the Daiichi nuclear reactor in Fukushima, for if the disaster at the Daiichi nuclear reactor in Fukushima provoked memories of Japan's victimization and vulnerability at the end of the Pacific War, and the eerie risk of an unknowable, invisible contamination, the sea of mud that plummeled what had been solid on the coastline signaled something else. A liquidization in socioeconomic relations that started in the mid-1990s, but actually before with the turn to flexible employment and its transformation of work and the workplace. This is called ryudoka in Japanese, the liquidization or flexibilization of work and life. In liquefied Japan, a change in logic of work seeps into everyday relation. In liquefied Japan, a change in the logic of work seeps into everyday relationality. Relations once valued for their sturdiness in space, staying in the same company or neighborhood for decades, and durability over time, lifelong marriages, group memberships, and jobs. Sociality today has become more punctuated and unhinged. Along with replaceable work and workers is rhythm of social impermanence. Along with replaceable work and workers is rhythm of social impermanence. Relations that instantaneously connect, disconnect, or never start up in the first place. 1/3 of all Japanese live alone these days, and the phenomena of both NEET, not in education, employment, or training, and hikikomori, social withdrawal, are well known among youths. 1/3 of all Japanese live alone these days, and phenomena of both NEET, not in education, employment, and training, and hikikomori, social withdrawal, are well known among youths. As I've learned in the process of fieldwork in summers since 2008, many Japanese feel lonely, that they don't belong anywhere, and are struggling to get by. A recent special on public television encapsulated current conditions of social life with the label Moen Shaka, the relationless society. Social precarity, liquefied Japan. Japan had been rumbling long before the recent disaster of earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear reactor accident. Tremors underfoot, a sense of imbalance, the premonition of water turning everything into mud. The events of 3/11 spawned a crisis of unimaginable intensity. Over 18,000 are missing or dead, 350,000 displaced, almost unimaginable and ongoing damage to business, property, livestock, and everyday life, and trillions of yen in cleanup, reconstruction, and compensation. Beyond those killed, it has made life even less safe than it was before for so many. Precarity intensified. It has also thrown into relief aspects of life that were precarious already. The fact, for example, that so many of the workers in Fukushima nuclear plants were, both before and after 3/11, part of the precariat, close to 88%. Disposable workers for whom the safety of other Japanese, as in cleaning up and containing the spread and exposure of radiation, are now so intimately intertwined. News reports on precarious employment, dispatch, contract, day labor are much more common these days, and the precariat have assumed greater recognition and sympathy in the public eye. Sensibilities of the Japanese across the country have also been raised to the politics of the nuclear village. In the location of so many nuclear reactors in the region of Tohoku, where both of its depressed sensibilities of the Japanese across the country have also been raised to the politics of the nuclear village, to the location of so many nuclear reactors in the region, Tohoku, where because of its depressed economy and aging population, residents had accepted the dangers in order to secure revenues and jobs. Residents had accepted the dangers in order to secure revenues and jobs. Residents had accepted the dangers in order to secure revenues and jobs. Sentiments against nuclear energy and the nuclear industry have soared. I protested alongside of 15,000 in June 2011, but another protest staged in Tokyo 3 months later drew 60,000. As have disgust and suspicion against owners of the nuclear plants and the government for their collusion of interest and for their mismanagement of safety regulations, cleanup, and withholding, even lying about information regarding radiation exposure. As have discussed and suspicion against the owners of the as have discussed and suspicion against the owners of the nuclear plants and the government for their collusion of interest and for their mismanagement of safety regulations, cleanup, and withholding, even lying about information regarding radiation exposure. In pre and now post 311 Japan, multiple precarities of work, societal of life. Okay, we're gonna end that right now. I think I'm getting better at speaking, but there are certain times where I mess up. All that I need to do is slow down, make sure that I read with intention and deliberation so that I don't constantly come up with random things to say. So just slow down, slow your words down, and be able to figure out what you really want to say. What are your thoughts? How do you want to form your thoughts? And then say them out loud, okay? Okay? All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.